Elsterwerda station is in the town of Brandenburg. It lies on the PD railway, but however, the station is known for a train derailment 22 years later today. This is the story of the 1997 Eastbury Brandon train derailment. On November 20th, 1997, one train with tanker cars loaded with oil. The call sign of this train was KC 71153. The train was led by DB-155 number 103. The train scheduled from Staventon to Nassau, but however, there was trouble. The crew soon learned that the train was a runaway train. Was about to approach switch 13. As soon the crew soon found out that there's nothing to do to stop the train. The train with 22 tanker cars derailed at the set up points due to overspeedment of 55 miles an hour when 25 miles an hour was ordered. Two large explosions from the wagons and large fireballs caused several damage to the train station, the first fire trucks, and other vehicles. Two firefighters sadly got killed by the explosion that happened after they arrived, and several others had to be treated for burns in the hospital. In total, 30 fire departments, response of 310 firefighters, and 62 vehicles were operated at least for 34 hours. Rescue service personnel attempted with 14 vehicles and 2 helicopters. But people are wondering, how can a tragedy happen in a nightmare, and why? The accident investigators realized that an engineer replacement at the previous stop at BG, in the middle of the night, he had did a brake test, but several errors were factored by the driver and the assistant train program operator. The first error caused by the driver was to not connect the main brake hoses between the first car and the locomotive. That explains why that the train became a runaway train, and so that the speed was going too fast. The train should have been traveling about 25 miles an hour. Instead, it was traveling 55 miles an hour. That explains why that the train derailed. And filling out the brake system by the engine happens far too fast without the driver's notifications. But still, actual brakes were gone by the technology who had been serviced 3 trains at the same time. But to have higher result than the engine supply, he did not report this to the driver, but reset the brakes by entering their air pockets, which was a bad thing to do. The actual brakes were never tested and never happened, and the driver later admitted that the positive effect. The technology, in turn, did not oppose the department of the train. As a result, the train left with all brakes functional except for the one on the engine. As able, it was still too late to try to slow down the train just in time before entering the station. In the end, DB-155-103 was damaged beyond repair and scrap, along with some tanker cars. The heavy damaged engine shed was later demolished and never rebuilt. The damaged station was renovated. 600 glands of oil spilled into the sewage system during the disaster, and after 10 years, pearl was still been filling out of the ground. In 2014, the station was completed rebuild. Several of the buildings around this area were demolished and replaced by green and platform for buses. The new work was informed on August 5th, 2014. The underpass was began rebuilt with two fills and new 320m Long Island platforms was beginning build, while other tracks and set are beginning demolishing. Between June 2014 and 2016, the tracks in the underpass were eventually repaired. Signaling on the 6-kilometer long stretch was to be replaced by the end of 2016. The following service called at the station. 22 years have now passed since the derailment occurred. Today, a memorial stand at the station stands for the 2 firefighters who got killed. The memories of the 2 firefighters will never forgot, and the derailment will never happen again.